welcome to the first video segments for this week. It's Monday. I'm in the shed. It's a bit dull. The lighting is a bit poor from outside. There's a few storms coming in, but I've rebuilt the electrical system again. I'm a bit of a fiddler, but I'll tell you what I've done. I've installed a power supply that regulates at 6 volts a lot better. This is the third power supply we'll play with putting in. Bit of an issue, but nothing to do with the power supply. That was a Dave issue. I'll talk about that in a sec. So yeah, we've got nothing I can do about this big ugly wiring loom floating down here. I'll try and tidy it up the best I can, but it was inherited as the way I started building the layout. So yeah, we'll probably tidy that up when we finish. That's got the power for the layout. The actual DCC bus runs through there. The signalling bus, all that runs down through there, through that mess of cables. But anyway, we'll tie that up. What I've stuck with, I've kept my switch panel it is, but I've built an electrical distribution panel. So when the 6 volt comes down here, I built this panel to make life easier. So up the top here, you'll see a white light. That's telling me that there is supply available. I've got a temporary light down here to tell me that the circuit that I'm running is on, just for testing purposes. But I've made this, gee, this camera, I'm going to have to do something better about filming. I've made this panel so I can check all stuff. So this pilot light, that's a pilot light, by the way, up there to tell me that the supply isn't running. This one is just for test purposes. This one's so when I'm turning my circuit on and off. So I've set this panel up where all the wires break out to the breakout panel. It's on a hinge, and when I've got everything wired up, that'll just push out the road like that. It's not as neat as I would like to do, but it is the best what I can do at the moment. Now, I would have liked to put the hinge on the other side, but it's actually a sealed panel. It's a 2-skin panel, the way that panel works. So I actually can't screw it on the bottom. I've got to screw it into something solid. But anyway, once we've got everything wired up, that'll poke up out of the road. Yes, a bit of an ugly hinge, but not a lot I can do with it. So that's designed so I can work on all the wiring, all the main stuff, and then up on the thing it'll be done. Now I have run a cable, my 6 volt main, right round the layout. So the cable goes up, it goes over, it goes right around the room, and it comes out the other end up where the warehouses are. And that is, at the moment, just to prove the cable's alive, it pops out here with this Coke Pepsi can. So that light on there is saying that the supply is active at the Pepsi can. Isn't that fantastic? So if you come with me, make you sick, Dave, wander around. And I operate the switch. Can we see the can? We probably can't see the can from here. If I turn that switch off, I probably should have explained this panel better. What I've got here is it's wired up a bit like a house. So this is my input supply. This is the supply coming from the 6 volt transformer. Imagine that's the line coming in from your house. So that's your house supply coming in here. Now, from here, it feeds this big red wire, then feeds this switch panel. Okay, so this wire, sorry, I'll rephrase. Yes, so a wire then travels over to the switch panel. Okay, if this makes no sense, I might have to do a wiring diagram. So the power comes out of here, this on a red wire, travels over to the switch, comes back to the switch on this yellow wire, and this yellow wire then feeds that circuit. Okay, so this is your house supply. These are the supplies out the bottom that goes to the switching panel, comes back from the switching panel, and then back to that circuit is the supply that runs all the way up to the factories. So here, the switch ends will come here. So each one of those switches out of here will come over to here in the top. Sorry. So each one of those switches will come in here. So switch 1, switch 2, switch 3. And this then out the bottom are the feeds. Circuit 1, circuit 2, circuit 3, switch 1, 2, 3. Okay? Just to explain that. I'm probably more confused it anymore. So anyway, so supply in, out of the bottom of the supply line to the switch panel return off to the circuit here, off to the circuits. Now, I will put in a neutral link. I've got the connector here. For those who want to know about the neutral link, yep, it will be one. I just haven't put it in. That'll be my neutral link on this side of the panel. So if you know about house wiring, it's very much set up the same. Why I haven't put the switches on this panel is because I want to push it down the road as I showed you and fold it up, but I can put it out here and work on it, and then I can put it away. And it's all designed for future expansion. At this stage, I only see the need for the free lighting circuits. This will be lighting and town supply. So my first circuit will be up the top. Second circuit will be the middle area of the track, and the third circuit will be the town area. Okay? Does that make any sense? Probably not. I've probably confused you even more. So, main supply in, local supply to the switches, switches return, circuit out there, neutral link. And everybody's gone, what? Okay. It'll make sense to somebody who works with electricity quite often. Well, I've got the meter on the end of the line that runs right around the room. My meter says I've got 5.6 to 5.63 volts, which is not too bad. I actually haven't tested the supply around at the actual supply line to see what the power supply is regulating. Maybe I should do that. But we've got 5.63 volts. The light's on, the line's active. The only hassle is these lights that I want to put on the circuit, and I'm trying to focus on for a minute, they say on their switch box they need 4.5 volts. Okay, now this is DC. If it was AC, yeah, you wind yourself a little transformer, you do bits and pieces, but I've got to get that DC voltage. Okay, anyway, down. I've got to go. These are the street lights, how they come, and as you see, it says up here that it needs 3 times 1.5 volt AA. 3 times 1.5 equals 4.5. So even though I've got my 6 volts, I've got to get that down to 3.5. I'm also, as part of the system, I'm going to put a current limiting resistor, because I was setting up my magic gate system down the bottom, and yeah, when we've got a 6 volt supply at 1.5 amps, or a little bit more than 1.5 amps, yeah, I let the magic smoke out of the gates controllers. I wasn't going to tell you that. We'll talk about more of that when I fix it. It's better off showing you how I'm going to fix that instead of my big stuff up. But anyway, so we have to get our 6 volt down to 4.5 for this system, and the lights in the factory has got to get down to 3 volts. I've got to lose half my voltage, and I'm going to build the system, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. It's a pity you can't. It's interesting that the shutter rate on the camera is making the building flash, but there, that's the end of the section 1. I've run out of solder, so I can't do any more soldering or any work on the building because I've run out of solder. I'm going to have to drip the Bunnings to get some electrical solder. How about that? So anyway, yeah, oop. Those sensor turn-on lights are really sensitive. Well, it's Tuesday. Well, it's Tuesday morning. I've just had to make a trip to Bunnings to buy solder because I ran out of solder yesterday. I don't know how much of the first video I will put in because I rabbited it on yesterday when I was filming. So edit it, and you've probably seen some of it or not all of it. But what I've been doing is doing all the wiring up here, technically putting all the top end, the factory end of the layout on the national power grid, wiring it all up on the fixed power supply, getting rid of all the batteries. So today, well now, not today, but what I want to do is the last factory up here, I want to remove this power pack, the battery pack that's up here. The lights are on, but connect all this onto the main power supply bus. So that is the job. Now, to make my life easier, I could pull all the factory out, stuff around and do that, but it was just quicker and easier this morning, and quicker and easier this morning to just pull the whole workbench out because it's a big trolley. It's a it's a trolley We've a dining room table with a cover on it. That's a little display layout there on the end. If you've seen the Runuts, that's on there. So I've just pulled the whole thing out because on wheels, so you can pull it out and move it around when you want to. I like everything in the workshop on casters on wheels, so I can pull it out. You'll realise that as you go along. So I can pull it out, move them around, push them around, make them more practical. So that's what I've done. I've I'll walk back, pulled out the whole workbench, slid down the road. I've got this gap here. Look, I can do some cleaning up. I'll do some cleaning up behind there as well before we put it back into place, Dave. So there, that is the thing. That battery box is coming out, so I'm going to physically just cut the battery box out, solder in some wires, bit of heat sink, and run them over to the bridge where all the utilities come in. That's the plan. Let's see how I get on, or not. So I've just joined those wires together, soldered them up. Since you guys are watching me and with me, I put some heat sink on it, just a heat shrink on it, just to make it proper. Just to give you a quick look while I'm up here of the storage cassette. This is a storage cassette which acts as a storage yard, fiddle yard. This is technically hidden in the factory. So you come into the factory, you drive up into the unit, and it's designed so it can slide out and turn the train around. How's that? These are little 3D printed connectors that I made up. They should be on the Dave's Facebook page, or if you'd like them, let me know. I can send the file, but they're just designed. So joiners, there, screwed into the track. Does like that, just a spacer joiner. And then for electrical connection, you can just slide the fish plates over, or sometimes I just roll the train in by hand. Just slide it in. So that's the track that goes into the factory. Slides in the factory end of the train line. So now I've got to run these cables round. They're going all the way round over to that bridge over there where you see that red wiring is, and that's where I will join them into the main supply, and then I can start reassembling the factory space. Okay, chat to you soon. Let's get that done. Well, this is Wednesday. I'm going to show you the video of what I've done. Is the street lights along this area of the town are now all connected to the main town supply. I'm really struggling with producing videos at the moment because it's got to do with my hearing. The cicadas outside are very loud. Being so loud, they are causing processing issues. I then have to use like my noise cancelling headphones or my hearing aids, but in the end I'm just ending up with headaches from just dealing with the noise. Not a lot I can do with it. This is the worst it's ever been. Cicadas are on record of being the loudest they've been in years. And it's just one of those things where, look, just not doing too well. But anyway, we'll try and get on. So if my language starts to go funny and I'm not making sense, it's my brain just is overloaded and it's not coping too well. Yeah, I got one of those strange brains. Anyway, so this is the main, it's Wednesday morning. This is the street. We've got the lights. Unfortunately, the way the phone is processing the video images, you can see the lights flashing at 50 cycles a second. That's a power supply regulation issue. We won't go into that and electronic stuff. But yeah, you can see due to the shutter on the camera and other things, they look like they're flashing. But in real life, they're on and they're steady. So we've got them hooked up. Now these used to be worked before, yes I know, but they're all on battery packs everywhere. So you had to turn on lights here, turn on lights there. I'll show you in a sec. We've got one switch. So street lights are on. In this area, the next thing would be to put building lights in. We'll work on that. Around this side of the thing, the street lights aren't in yet. Yes, we'll put street lights in here. The street lights for this area of the town, well, currently they're sitting on the workbench. They're there, almost ready. Up in the other area of town, we have the street lights and building lights. I've still got to do more. Now we can go ahead and we'll put in lights. So like in the gas facility, we might put some more lights in the park gates area. Once again, the LEDs up in these lights are flashing. Strangely, in some videos this light works, in other videos it doesn't. All the buildings are backlit. You'll probably see flashing. Biggest hassle I now have in this area of the world of the layout is because the LED sensors, the lights up here, LED strip lights are on sensors. When you approach them, they turn on. So that's interesting. I still have to come back and tidy up. I'll have to put in some fake type conduit, some real conduit that's fake to hide all the wiring and mess and tidy it all up. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So that is where we're at. Now I'll go and show you my panel because I've done something magic down the other end. Now the other area village, yes, there will be lights over there. On the back village we have 2 sets of lights to go in. We have some lights to run along there and we have lights to go in other spots. But anyway, show you that in a sec. Let's go down to the control panel. I have the LED overhead lights off because they smear, cause a camera smear. Anyway, we'll have a look at the control panel. So this control panel have 3 switches, so we have sort of like 3 power districts. I'm probably going over this over and again. So we have 1 switch, this switch here turns off all the lights up the top. You can't see it, hang on. So this is the control panel that controls the lights. So this controls, now I have a little light out here because I was sourcing it. There is one LED on the first thing because when I was setting it up I had an LED for testing purposes. You've probably seen that in the previous video. If not, I've deleted it. Now over here under the layout is a distribution panel. Now this is a double skinned layout, so it's very hard to insert and screw things in because it's a top and bottom skin. The way this area of the layout was built is, that's the MDF bottom skin, so it's a bottom skin on this. So this is why we've got a big ugly hinge here, because there's no other way. But what I've done is, this panel here is a distribution power for all the power. So all the power around the layout comes up to this panel here. Now this panel does a magic trick. Up in there, very hard to see, is a hinge. See that? That is a normal household hinge, a cupboard hinge, and it's screwed in. Let's pull all this cabling out. Screwed in. I might have to get the other light out and show you. So there's a hinge there. Now, this panel that splits all the power out. I want to say it's a distribution board, but I can't get the word out. This board has all connectors and all the bits and pieces. So the power from the transformer comes to here, and then it goes off to the switch panel and controls all the district. Now on the back of this piece of MDF, I have a magnet screwed, as in this is just a cupboard magnet like you find in houses and cupboards. Where is it? Up here. So this is just a magnet, and it goes up and plugs into that hinge. So that panel, when you're not using it, pulls right in and folds up. I might have to pull the other light out later. If you have any questions and you'd like to see this in better, let me know in the comments and I will pull out the work light and actually film it better. But if you can understand what's going on, that's fine. But if you want to see how this works, let me know. Let me know. Just say, hey Dave, how did you do that? Let me know. It helps. Okay. So there we are up on Wednesday morning this week. So there is our 3 power districts, our distribution system running off. Now the system runs off 6 volts. So that comes out of my big transformer, 6 volts all the way through these switches. It's 6 volts. Yes, I know, the LEDs, as we discussed before. I'll have to put the lights on to show you. The LEDs run off 4.5 volts. Oh, that'll open things up. So in Mr. Fragar's house, that is where the power comes up from underneath. The 6 volt comes in, and there is a couple of diodes. Hang on, you can't see them. I can draw, if you want a diagram, I'll draw a diagram later of how the diodes work. There's two rectifier diodes back to back. Each diode across the diode produces a voltage drop of 0.7 volts. So the 2 diodes in series produces a voltage drop of 1.4 volts, which then feeds the 3.5 volt, sorry, the 4.5 volt street lights. So there you go, that's how that's done. Now if you want wiring diagrams of that, let me know and I will do them. and fit up, and I will draw up fancy diagrams. Professor Dave will pull out his Texas and the drawing board. Okay, so that's where we're up to. There will be house lights now. Now that I have a spot to connect them, next thing is to put lights in all these buildings along here. So not only will we have street lights, but we will have building lights. Future plan there. How long that will take me, got no idea. Well, look, humbly apologise for those really annoying flickering street lights. Recording on a phone, there's not a lot I can do about it. But it is only fitting that the first house on the street, or the first building on the street, to actually be fitted with this newfangled electric lighting is Mr. Fragar's hardware store. There you go, Fragar Brothers hardware store now has electrical lighting. And look, just to prove that I'm not going crazy insane, yes, hang on, seasickness alert, going to swing round. I just wired up that LED, did all that. But in the meantime, the street light that was not working is flickering, and that's not the camera playing up, that's the actual LED is fading in and out and doing crazy things. We'll get up right close to it. Focus on that. Which is, these are meant to, what's the word I'm looking for? These are meant to represent gas lighting. That's why they have a yellow LED, because they're meant to be a gas flame in there. But hey, that affects even better. And that's because it's just playing silly peoples. Well, those motion sensors on those strips are really sensitive, which is good. Don't have to worry about turning lights on and off. But look at that. Look at that silly thing. People will go. I was actually going to take a video of it not working, and then I walked over with the phone to show you that it had gone out again and died, and it came back on again. Can't see if we can compare it. There it is. It's compared to its neighbour. Go on, lights going. It's back on again. That has me stuffed. Well, this is like the end of the Friday report. On Friday, recording this, having a bit of a slow day. I'm feeling a little bit unwell. Just one of those bugs going around or something that's slowed me down a bit. Anyway, well, I was pottering along slowly on doing the street lighting around the place, but we've come to a bit of a screaming halt with an issue. Power supply I've been using is just not up to the task, which is quite bizarre. I've been using power supplies that I've had on hand around trying to recycle some bits and pieces, but I've had to bite the bullet this morning and order a dedicated power supply. Currently we've been running at 6 volts at about 1.2 amps. It won't mean much to people, but I've had to order a power supply. Now the best I can do is a 5 volt power supply running at about 6 amps, which will give us a problem because at the moment with all the lights I've added, we're not getting enough power through the system, and I can tell you that because I've wired up the old lighthouse to the system, and the old lighthouse is just, although due to the way the video camera works on the phone to look like it's flashing, it's just sitting there rather dull, and I've not actually put too much load on it, and we're struggling with running the town. So I've ordered a power supply that is designed for a CCTV camera system, which will give us 5 volts, not 6 volts, but we should be able to get away with that. 5 volts at 6 amps. 6 amps, bit of an overkill, but it should run the system, hopefully all well. So I've had to order that, so that'll probably take a week or 2 weeks to come, and then I can get back to wiring up and lighting up the town. I'll probably install some lighting, but I won't be able to test too much. Yeah, because of that limitation. I thought the power supply I was using would be up to do it, but no. Now, somebody will say, oh, why don't you use a computer supply? Yes, I've got some of those on hand, and they will do 5 volts at a decent ampage, but then the 12 volt side of it's just useless. We're going to be running that 400 watt power supply for the sake of delivering 5 volts. I really don't see the point in that. Trying to keep everything nice and sweet. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that just ignore that. But we have ordered a dedicated supply, switch mode power supply, which will hopefully deliver us enough current and not too much voltage in the thing, because I'm trying to keep the voltage low. When it comes to LEDs lighting, the lower the voltage you can keep it, the longer they will survive. That's about it. Now, funny story, when we were looking at ordering more the replacement LED light, because we were one short in the fittings, we've come to a bit of a problem with the supplier, because they've sent me a fitting, but this is 30 centimetre tube, not the 60 centimetre tube. Now they tell me, after they've sent this and I've gone, you've sent me the wrong one, apparently they can't supply the 60 centimetre tube, the 2-foot tubes, as a single. I've only can buy them in a set of 6. I don't want 6. I really don't. Not even to have some round of spares, because these things are meant to have a 20-year lifespan. That's sort of like going to do me out. I think probably only got 20 years left. Probably 30, I think. But anyway, by the time 30 years come around, the technology will be fast speed. So the choice is, I either buy 6 what we used to call 2-foot lights, which is 60 centimetres for people who don't know, or we could just order some more 30s, and that's what I've done. I've ordered some more 30s. In fact, I ordered 2 more 30s to go down up there where the light is missing and work on that. So that's probably be a week, 2 weeks out before that. So a lot of the stuff that I've been working on, we just come to a halt, come to a screaming halt. But anyway, now I have been learning DaVinci video editing software in the background. I don't know if you've noticed in the change in the quality and the variation of the videos. I'm learning DaVinci. There is a steep learning curve. Up to now I've been using Premiere Pro, and for cheating purposes I've also used the online stuff as well. But okay, so if you've seen a change in that in the last couple of weeks, and that's because I'm now learning DaVinci. One of those things where, look, I better learn this in case somebody says, oh, can you edit in DaVinci? And I can do it. There is a bit of a steep learning curve, because it is completely different to the Premiere Pro workflow and other things I'm used to. But anyway, we're learning. Next week, I've got some few bits and pieces. I keep saying that. Yeah, I've got some completely different ideas I want to work on, which we'll talk about next week, because what happens if I say I'm going to do this and this and this, and the plans change, then everybody goes, oh, I thought you said you're going to do this and this and this. Oh, one other thing, completely off track. Came across at the local, oh, look at this, there's some cutters and burrs there, we can talk about those. The local op shop store, one of them were, for some reason, they got a large shipment of gloves in. I don't know where or why, but I'd almost run out of the older gloves that I use for spray painting. But I picked up a box of 10 boxes of vinyl gloves from the local op shop for $30. That's heaps of gloves. That was one of those things where, yeah, look, they're the vinyl ones, not so much the other, what's the other one made in? Latexy type stuff, but they're vinyl, so they're okay. Yeah, so I've got heaps of those. I've got, 10 boxes of 100 for $30. That was pretty neat discount. Yeah. What else is thing? Look, there's some few. Look, won't go into, but got some pulling out bits and pieces for some other jobs. This is a sample. Oh, look at this! I've got some burrs and pulled out my end mill. Oh, these end mill cutters. This is a really bizarre story. When you open them up in because they've been stored in Kero, they've been sort of like cleaned up in Kero and stored. They smell actually quite wonderful when you open up the packaging. But if you'd like, look, probably won't go into it now, but I can probably next week. I'll do a video and tell you what is the difference between a burr and an end mill cutter, because they look the same, but they're different for a reason. We can look at that. Apart from that, not much else going on this week. Hope you had a great week. Keep safe. Don't forget the all-important like and subscribe, and if possible, leave comments, ask any questions, share the video amongst your friends. That's all we ask. So that's it from now from Dave in the Shed. We'll have another video next Friday, unless something really exciting happens, and we'll do a mid-week video. But at this stage, yeah, it's a matter of get out your shed, do something. Have a go. You don't know what you can do or what you can't do till you try. Anyway, I've been Dave in the Shed. Catch you next time.